What's good, YouTube? And stop the FOMO. I love that guy's YouTube channel. It would sound like a crypto thing, but he actually compares TVs versus previous models and other competing models, and he's an awesome resource to actually show everything with that. But let's get to the cards. 5D's legendary decks are selling like hotcakes above MSRP despite this bold pre-sale item here, and I think people are getting extra antsy because yeah, it got delayed here in the US, but it's still going to come out before Black Friday in time for Christmas gifts and all that stuff. And I guess people don't mind spending that bit extra, but I think you should be waiting for deals like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but also because of that awesome MSRP being up, instead of $29.99, you now can go to your locals and slap a LARC card on top for free and get extra value, which is what the promotion is supposed to do. For once, I'm happy a price went up a little bit. So when it comes down to it, the sales rate is crazy. I've clicked the next page after next page earlier, and look, you have to go here to get to the next days, and then you have to go through again, and they're all around $40, and it continues to be that way for some time. I think that people are seriously getting, I gotta have the mulch armies. I've been waiting for this for so long, and $40 for 3 of them. Well, that puts it at $120 for the playset of each. And yes, you get a ton of other things on top. You get the new Chibi Signer Dragons. Garden Rose Maiden was recently a lot of money. But look at how many sellers are through here. 4 on all of these. They're not competing with each other. They're barely undercutting and trying to keep the prices higher to make sales from people who don't know any better. So while it does look very impressive, I'm going to point to another recent impressive structure deck, the Chronicles. You can get these around $15 in bulk or less than MSRP shipped to your front door, despite being so loved, having good staples inside: Super Polymerization, Black Goat Laughs, Nibiru, the Bestials on reprint, has so many good things in it, and the new branded cards inside, and then chances at higher rarity things. I think it does it pretty well. While the legendary decks are, in my opinion, better, especially for returning players or budget players, I don't think it's worth the extra. I think you will have better chances in the next couple of weeks to get it post-release, especially with promotions going on. But let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Is it going to just go crazy out the gate and the mulch armies are going to carry it to that wavelength? I think that you'll still have a good amount of chances to go out and hunt that. You know, touch some grass while you're out there getting the deals. When it comes down to replaced value, though, I was looking over at how Dominus Purge was falling, but then the mulch armies are going to be falling from their new reprint, and where do the 10s go from here? Sometimes a product can fall out, but I do think SP Little Knight is starting to curve just a hair back, and then you also have Infinite Impermanence in here, and Lordly Loathe. Primite is still very good. I think that a lot of the value might go to this bit of a row here, and Dominus Impulse and Purge, why Purge is going besides just in the meta, people are speculating the next round of legendary decks may reprint these and be just as hype. Konami did something super based by doing the mulch armies, and it does look like the Purge reprint clock is ticking. So with the second wave of legendary decks being meta focused, I don't blame people for drawing that conclusion, but until the proof's in the pudding, I don't think I'm necessarily buying it, but I do like the theory. Also falling down is K9 Izuna, and people were pointing out how crazy the fall off is when you're being played less in a metagame, yes, but I think something more is going on here. Justice Hunters has been falling out for some time, and you can see top meta decks for oh so cheap with Yummy, which is awesome, but it's how modern Yu-Gi-Oh prices are working. People aren't collecting a lot of the newer stuff. They assume the 10s might come out with another Starlight. Why would I go collect rare? Oh, there's a Starlight in here, so there won't be a Starlight. Maybe I'll pick that up. And $25 for top meta cards in their highest rarity is not a healthy sign for Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, with, I think it was Duelist Advance or one of the more recent sets, Tier 0 sold 2 cases when they used to do 200. Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself is falling out, but there's still a huge quantity of ordered so that maybe if the next set is good, shops continue to actually get their orders in. And they're levying that with Magic sales, Pokemon sales, and you will see more stores dropping it. I had another story in my DMs about one of the, I believe it was, I think it was a Virginia locals that was closing down, and they were talking about how there were 2 in the area and now there's only 1, and it really sucks, and now they have to go 30 minutes to their locals instead of having the one by them. And I just have so many stories like that told to me of, well, there's 1 in the area now and it's consolidated, so that area seems stronger for that locals, but in reality it used to be 5 going and you could go here or there and pick and choose, and now it's just like, if you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, it's very consolidated in some places. But having top decks with this price cards, I would hope that would have been from a product structure change instead of a demand for Yu-Gi-Oh cards change. And there is still a really good demand. We'll actually talk about the collector market in a second and where things are still going, but this kind of shows where the entire meta prices are, even though we're having super amazing YCS attendance at, I want to say 1,800 plus at Pittsburgh. It looks awesome on paper, but I think overall, like, the local scene is nowhere near as healthy as it should be. And another point to that is how Mitsurugi, while it does have a reprint and we're in the off season, so you would expect it to fall, is falling off from almost 30 down to 20 when we know it's good for a while and this is going to be the holographic version. Like, it's interesting because we have all that theory that this will now survive through a WCQ season, but people are letting it fall a third immediately instead of drawing it out like past meta things like Link Karibo and how it's spiked back up. Now, it's still early versus its reprint announcement, but how it's falling off early is very interesting when there's so much Yu-Gi-Oh to play until then, including part of the WCQ season. Duelist Advance is interesting to bring back up because I didn't know this was a thing. This is a dead listing, so people were pointing out that, hey, that listing's not there, you need to check them out from now on. Add to cart. Oh, but let's find another. Not at that price. So this is apparently a thing now where these sellers have phantom listings that aren't available to be grabbed, so you do have to double check the actual price of what's lowest now when doing buy, sell, trade, and even considering shopping through the season. I hope TCG Player gets this fixed. Queen of Thorns is going up. It has new modern support and is an Edison card. What a great combo with only 2 printing. So its Astral Pack Common is now going for almost $10 and it's actually selling mild play. Yikes. Light play $9.50, near mint unlimited around 10, and now the lowest listings are around there for the common version. Shadol already had buyouts going into the new support, but it's getting ridiculous at this point. 6.9 not so nice is about the price where it's at, and it even has a sale at $68 and multiple above 50, completely sold out in the 40s for that QCR. Sky Striker Ace Ray, with all the new Sky Striker support that will be coming from those legendary decks, there's going to be just waves of buyouts on Sky Striker stuff. You can see one listing here before it goes up, but I checked and you actually can add that one to your cart. Bestial Saronir, its secret rare is going up a good amount, and people are pointing out with Mitsurugi around for a while, and this being a solid counter at max rarity, it's a decent pickup. There are some $5 copies before it's 7-ish, but do be aware you have the nice version out of the Chronicles deck if you already got that, where you have an Ultra version and you don't necessarily have to go max rarity, but what do branded players end up doing? They max rarity their stuff quite often. Speaking of the collector market, mixing into also having Genesis around, Upstart Goblin's only 3 points, and it seems to be getting even stronger over time. Over $100 at this point, with sales in that range pretty consistently now. It's crazy to watch how there are successful pieces, and out of all the cards in Bonanza, this one, through its history in the game, really finding that sweet point. But another thing I wanted to bring up was the Kaiba briefcase. Now, not the most of this was ordered in the world, but a quarter century secret rare going down is one I've been waiting for it to go down personally, but I'm waiting for it to fall back towards like 120 personally. This version with the world behind it instead of the tablet, I've always had a soft spot for, and it's finally starting to have listings 320 instead of 400 where it was selling at. But the secret rare started at Kaiba art with the prismatic secret backing continues to go up and continues to actually see a sale in that range here, sale in that range there, and 450 is a lot, but you see all these listings at 425 still. Being there, that value displacement I was talking about earlier, where one thing comes down, the other goes up, that's kind of flipping around here, but so much of this is up. I've been waiting for Battle Ox for some time, and yeah, I think I'll be using OCG versions of my LOB decks. This actually finds play in LOB and started at Kaiba Yugi format. And then a lot of the cards that are just memorable. So few listings and coming back up in price. So be aware of that one. And then we can get to the merch finally. I just wanted to shout out the pins over on Pin Club. I love Jinzo. I love Swords of Revealing Light, some of my favorite cards of all time. Then there's a Toon World one and Change of Heart. These are officially licensed. This is not a sponsored shout out. Doing it for the love of the game. I think these are awesome and I ordered myself some of these. So be aware, Pin Club has new stuff up of a lot of fan favorites and a lot of Toon stuff for Toon collectors. Let me know what you think of the card market though. I think the collector market has its sweet spots and there's still people pushing a lot of money into Yu-Gi-Oh! Collectibles, especially when they are backed by playability somewhere in a past format, more so than just to have it sit in a binder. A lot of things are continuing to fall out since COVID. The top end first edition LOB, for example, like we haven't really seen stuff try to push back up since then. And I think it does speak volumes with all the other card games coming out and a lot of people like wondering about Yu-Gi-Oh! Should I wait to be buying stuff here and there? I think there's a lot of deals to be had in this season, but where it's going to go, it's gonna really hang on that serialized and them breaking the frame and how the product's set up after that. I think product itself needs a huge fix. I think stores need to have faith back in it, and I think that comes from collectors actually coming in and finding boxes worth buying, and I don't necessarily see that happening with just those serialized cards, but we'll have to wait and see what Konami does with its product rework. I am hopeful for the first time in a long time. I really think Yu-Gi-Oh! Can come back from the brink. Genesis showed it can do something to product, but it wasn't maintained. Then we have collectibles coming back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I do think those initially will be perceived as something to go for, but will it actually get back the base that left? I don't think a lot of them are going to jump back out of Pokemon or whatever to do it, but I think it will turn heads. So then Konami has its chance to really fix things. That's where I'm at with it. So I have hope for the first time, but I'm also an optimistic realist. And the realist in me says it's gonna take more than that, and I hope Konami recognizes that. Thanks for watching, everybody.